Hey everyone, welcome to the Mind of Ro page. Last week I told everybody that I was going to make a video on how to balance your energy centers by working with the Neteru and the Orishas. So last week I did a video on your root chakra and I actually spoke about Set, Geb, and Shango. So today I'm going to speak about Sobek and Het-Heru, or in other words, Hathor. Some people know her name as. As time went by, Het-Heru's name actually changed to Isis. But we're going to go really, really far back into ancient times and not mix Het-Heru with Isis because that only happened due to colonialism. So let's talk about Het-Heru in her pure form before the concept of these deities got colonized. So I'm going to explain how Sobek and Het-Heru can help heal your sacral chakra. So your sacral chakra, or in other words, your second energy center, is associated with your emotions, your emotional intelligence, your creativity, and your sensuality or your sexuality. But your sexuality can be known also with your root chakra as well. So let's just say our sacral is more about your sensuality. So the reason why I'm having Het-Heru as one of the deities that I feel like that should heal that center is because she's actually associated with this type of energy. A lot of this energy is actually built with guilt. So Het-Heru actually helps heal our guilt, whether it's conscious or subconscious. So she's actually associated with the concept of fertility, music, dance, play. She's a very major healer out of all the Neteru. She's a major healer. So let me explain the concept of her energy. So I talk to a lot of the Neteru and I talk to a lot of the Orishas, and they come and speak to me. And when they do come, they have their own energy. They have their own needs, their own wants, their own personality. So from my perspective, and supposedly a lot of other people's perspectives who's actually got to meet Het-Heru on a personal level, Het-Heru's energy is kind of like that really loving, caring nurse that you might see in the hospital. Because she is known as being that healing kind of energy, I guess she's very loving and she's very forgiving. She is definitely not a hot spirit. I'm sure a lot of you noticed if you've been keeping up on my videos, I speak about hot spirits. She's definitely not one of those. So if you give her an offer and she doesn't like it, she's not going to get angry or anything like that. She might not do what you asked her to do, but she's not going to get all pissy and angry like some deities can be kind of hot. She's definitely not. She's very forgiving. She's very loving. She is very comforting. And this is the kind of being you never have to worry about ever making angry or anything like that. She's around a lot, and the type of energy that you're thinking of is kind of like that motherly kind of comforting, like one of those mothers that want to hug you a lot, kind of feeling or kind of energy. That's kind of what her energy is like. So she's actually associated with the color turquoise. So if you do give her any offers, it is best to offer her anything on a turquoise plate. As you can see, I have a turquoise plate there for her, or the color white. Of course, you can never go wrong with white because she is a very ascended being, so you can never go wrong with white. As you see, I offered her some water in a white shot glass and a white candle, so you can never go wrong with white. If you do not have turquoise, we could always give her white. And foods that she likes is oranges, honey, and she loves candy. And the reason why she does, if you think about the energy of candy, it's very sweet, it's very fun, and because it mimics her energy, that's why she likes that kind of stuff. So what you're looking at is a plate that I offered Het-Heru, and you see oranges, and I actually put honey over those oranges, and those little red pieces are actually hibiscus flower like candies, and it's actually made of real hibiscus, and I found it in Winco, and the flower you see at the bottom is actually an edible flower. I ran into that in Winco as well. So I was like, wow, I'm about to do some offers for Het-Heru, and I don't think it's a coincidence that I happened to run into edible flowers while I was there, because a lot of these times when you work with a lot of the Neteru or the Orishas, they will speak to you before you speak to them. So she basically was like, hey, buy these for me. So when I went to Winko a few days ago before I was supposed to work with her, I seen these. And when I did a divination, she was like, yes, this is what I want on my plate for what you're about to ask of me. So my advice is, like I say in all my videos, if you want to do any work with the Neteru or the Orishas, be sure to divine first, and I will tag a video with this video so you can know how to communicate with the other side to find out what exactly they would like for whatever suggestion or whatever you're asking or whatever favor you're asking from them. So when you ask a favor from any deity, you have to be very, very detailed. Don't just say, hey, Het-Heru, can you just heal my emotions and then give her food? It doesn't work that way. It's kind of like counseling. You got to like go step by step. So for example, if you want healing in regards to resentment towards, let's say, an ex, say, hey, Het-Heru, can you give me, I have a lot of resentment for whatever ex, whatever this person's name is, and I can't heal this resentment, and I keep trying, I can't. Het-Heru will help you heal with that. Now, you can't just say, oh, my exes. You got to be very, very detailed. You got to say, okay, this is a specific person. This is the issue. Talk to her as if she's a counselor and say, hey, I need to be healed from this person did this to me. Can you heal me from this? And from this request I'm asking of you, what would you like for it? And then that's when you divine. And like I said earlier, I will post a video on how to divine. You would throw pennies and you could ask, would you like this or that? And be sure to only ask the foods that I just listed. So it's going to be a lot of citrus fruit or just fruit in general, anything that's going to be sweet and citrusy, and a lot of candy. You might even have candy sitting in your car or in your home that she might like, so that way when you ask her, you would ask her, hey, do you like this Starburst that I have over here? Would you like some of that, for example? So why would you contact Het-Heru? If you're going through a lot of emotional instability, if you have a lot of triggers, if there's certain people you haven't forgiven, if you have a lot of resentment. And some of this resentment doesn't always have to do with relationships. It could also do with, there's a lot of chaos going on in the world right now. So it's normal to feel really bitter and angry about what the hell is wrong with this planet. It's normal to feel like that. You have every right to feel that way. Het-Heru, when you ask for healing in regards to world pandemics, she will not make you numb to it. So please know the difference between having healing in regards to it and being numb towards something. That's two totally different concepts. So here's an example of my experience with Het-Heru. I have a lot of resentment towards the New Age spiritual movement. And the reason why I do is because I feel like the New Age spiritual movement is created to cover up African spirituality and to still throw in a lot of dogmatic concepts to it. And I don't believe in black and white thinking. And I think that we should be getting in touch with our roots. And I feel like New Age spirituality is pulling people away from their roots and saying, oh, no, you shouldn't practice that. You should practice it this way because it's New Age now and blah, blah, blah. I don't agree with that. I'm not saying all of you shouldn't. I'm just saying as a story and my personal experience of working with Het-Heru, I had a lot of resentment towards it. And I said to myself, I don't want to be angry about it. I don't want to be numb to it or blind to it, but I do not want to be angry about it anymore. I still want to make moves in my life and raise awareness and try to lead people the right way from whatever knowledge that I have in regards to these concepts, but I don't want to be numb to it. So from my experience, I actually offered Het-Heru, I think I offered her, what she asked for was fruit and honey and some butterscotch candy that I happen to have. And this, I'm not lying to you, this is seriously what happened. I said, Het-Heru, can you please get rid of this resentment that I have and this anger, bitterness that I have towards the New Age spiritual movement that's going on. And I woke up the next day and my anger was completely gone. I didn't forget about it. I didn't lose my feelings towards it or my knowledge towards it. I just wasn't emotionally bothered by it. You know, there's a difference between suppressing emotions and forgetting about it versus still being aware of it, but just not letting it bother you, if you know what I'm saying. So the next day when I woke up, I felt like I knew why I didn't like the concept, and I still agreed with myself on why I didn't like the concept. A second. Okay, so I still agreed with myself on why I shouldn't. I didn't like resist that emotional feeling within myself, but I wasn't emotionally bothered by it. It wasn't like interrupting my peacefulness or my flow, or was it making me angry, if you know what I'm saying. So this is the kind of healing that Het-Heru will actually offer to you. Another experience I had with Het-Heru is actually, so I do enjoy being a healer. I also am going through some things. I'm going through a healing process myself. I did just get out of an abusive relationship, and I'm in the process of healing from it and trying to let go of that resentment and anger that I have towards my past experience. And it is common when we are hurt by people, we kind of lash out and see those, aspects in other people and whatnot and stuff like that. And especially with all this COVID crap going on, it's really normal to be very, very resentful towards the world right now. And as a melanated person, I believe that we as melanated people have been colonized for centuries. Therefore, that's why we tend to have a lot more emotional issues, because due to colonization. And that's definitely a lot of energy that we need to heal within ourselves. Not saying dismiss it or ignore it or excuse it, but it's something that we need to heal within ourselves. So because of that, I have that realization within myself. I've been doing healing work with Het-Heru, and she's definitely helped me a lot with that. So one time I was actually meditating on Het-Heru. I gave her some offers and I sat in my pyramid. When I say my pyramid, I could probably tag some more videos on what I mean by my pyramid. I have a meditation pyramid that I keep in my home that I meditate in to help me connect to non-physical beings like Het-Heru, for example. So I needed to ask her, like, hey, how can I still be a healer without being resentful towards, let's say, fucked up people? I'm going to be honest. Like, there's a lot of fucked up people out there. How can I be a healer without being angry about these people who are just mean, And she helped me have this realization within myself, is be able to see where that pain came from. And she actually she spoke to me and she was like, hey, look at that person in the car in front of you that's outside the window. And she said, read that person's energy, because I don't know if you guys know this, but I am an aura reader, and I do a lot of live aura readings on my Facebook page. So I'm really good at reading auras. So what she suggested to me was, the next time I feel really bitter and angry about somebody, just kind of read their aura if they were to approach me, and know what's really hurting them. And it helps me kind of get past that bitter and that anger of why this person is coming at me this way or whatnot. And it does help. I honestly still need some healing on that, and it's just something that we need to admit to ourselves. But Het-Heru has definitely helped me a lot with that. And I think the most awesome thing that she's done is that one time when I honestly woke up and I felt no resentment or anger, emotional blockages towards the New Age movement. And that's been a thing that I've been dealing with for years, honestly. Thank you, Het-Heru. She helped me a lot with that. So how do you know Het-Heru is around? So she's actually, if you look at pictures of Het-Heru online, she is actually associated with cow horns. So if you happen to be working with Het-Heru energy, or if you have worked with her energy, if you want to know if she's around, you're going to see little signs that represent her. So like deer horns, or the color turquoise, or somebody or a woman might come up to you and speak to you in some kind of loving, healing manner wearing turquoise. Or there's some red flags that Het-Heru is trying to communicate with you, or she's just trying to let you know, hey, I'm around and I hear you, and I'm talking to you, I'm trying to tell you something. So you don't necessarily have to summon her to get this energy. This is just some red flags. If you've never summoned her or invoked her, if you've been thinking about her, if you think about deities, they know that you're thinking about them. So even if you have never summoned her, if you're thinking about talking to her, she'll let you know with little signs, like pictures of cows might appear, or horns, and her colors will appear as well. And that's how you know she's around. So that's my little basic info on Het-Heru. I'm not going to go into a whole lot of history of her, but here are some basic things to know about Het-Heru that a lot of people don't know. I'm going to move on. This is Sobek right here. But before we move on to Sobek, so Het-Heru is actually, if you look at the pictures of Neteru, Het-Heru is seen with, she could be seen with wings, and she could be seen with horns on her head with a disc, like a sun disc. A lot of people think that's Isis. That's not Isis. Isis is actually seen with a crown and a headpiece. Those are two different deities, and within time, due to colonialism, they actually mixed and meshed up Het-Heru, or in other words, Hathor, which is a Greek name for her, into Isis. Those are actually two different beings. Originally, they were two different beings, and within time, they actually mixed them together. So just to let you know, when you do look up pictures or look up information on Het-Heru, it's easier to find information by putting Hathor in, because Het-Heru is her original African name, and Google is controlled by, I call it, the white man. So it's going to be a little harder to find information on Het-Heru. So if you want to find some more information on her, look up Hathor and you're going to get more information. But please know this is the internet and it is ran by the man, so you're going to get some mixed messages. So just be really mindful of how a lot of colonialism will mix up the concept of Isis and Het-Heru, or in other words, Hathor. So just know, originally Hathor or Het-Heru was known to have the horns, and Isis is known to have the crown or headpiece. Those are two different beings. So if you want to know more information about her, just be mindful of that. So let's move on to Sobek. This is my second video I'm making about Sobek. I made another video about Sobek and Anpu as crossroad deities. And the reason why I am bringing up Sobek for your sacral chakra is because your sacral chakra is in regards to your fertility and the element water. So obviously Sobek, because he's an alligator, he's associated with the element water. So that being said, let me describe him really quick. He is known as the Lord of Waters, or the Neteru of the Nile, which is obviously water, and fertility, or dark waters, and also chaos. He is associated with the colors red and black, and his favorite foods are palm oil, rum, and water. Obviously, because he's an alligator. So Sobek's energy, from when I have summoned him and I have spoken to him, is very, very heavy and can be a little intimidating to summon. So my advice to you, you do not have to summon Sobek to give him food. You could basically just give him an offer, and you don't have to summon and ask him to come forward to you if it's a little too intense for you to handle, because his energy is very heavy and can be a little hard for people who are just beginners and they're not sure how to handle certain energies. So why would you contact him in regards to your sacral chakra? Because our sacral chakra is our emotional intelligence. When we need healing, it's because most likely if you were to say, hey, I need sacral chakra healing, it's because our sacral is currently chaotic or causing a lot of blockages. So because Sobek is in regards to chaos, he's actually a being you would need to speak to get rid of the chaos. I actually made a blog recently about getting rid of something and then replacing it with something. So the problem with a lot of society is that we either do one or the other. So this is something that I've noticed within the woke or conscious community, is sometimes you'll see a lot of spiritual people say, oh, you got to do a lot of energy work and give yourself energy, give yourself energy, give yourself energy, but then not release it and then feel ashamed. Well, I can't release it. I can't show my anger, because like if I ever show my anger or my hurt, then people are going to judge me. Yeah, fuck all that. You need to release this energy that is not serving you, and you can't just keep getting energy work and keep trying to embed yourself and keep asking for energy that helps serve you if you're not releasing energy that does not serve you. So this is why we need to speak to Sobek. Sobek is in regards to chaos. When I mean chaos, I mean there's a bunch of crap going on in your life. You feel really imbalanced in yourself and you don't understand why. And you're like, man, please just get rid of this. Sobek is the being that you need to speak to. And from my suggestion, if you are going to work with the Neteru to help heal your emotional center, it is wise to give Sobek an offer first and then give Het-Heru an offer second. And the reason why is because, like I said earlier, you need to release and then give, not just take. You need to make sure you release what does not serve you so you have more room in your bowl of consciousness. I guess if you could picture yourself as a bowl or like a cup, you know, the cuppeth runneth over, you know that saying. You want to make sure you want to get rid of crap that doesn't serve you. You know, you don't want to have like a moldy bowl and then add fruit into it, because you're going to make that fruit go moldy as well. So this is why we need to serve Sobek, and we need to stop fearing our emotions. This is why I don't agree with a lot of some of these new conscious ideas, is because we're being conditioned to fear our emotions. And if you fear your emotions, you're going to bottle them up and you're going to avoid them, and they're going to end up blowing up at the most awkward time you don't want them to. Okay, so it's good to be very mindful of our emotions and be open, to have somebody to talk to and say, this is really bothering me, and be real about it and release it, and then replace it with that which serves us. So my personal experience with Sobek, and this is some crazy experience I've had with Sobek, and I've actually spoke to a lot of Kemetic priests that were like, hey, that's really rare that you've had experiences with Sobek, because a lot of people don't have a whole lot of experiences with Sobek. So one of my craziest experiences with Sobek, during my last relationship, it was very chaotic and abusive. Sobek showed up in the bathroom, okay? So he showed up in the bathroom, and there was a bunch of his faces drawn all over my shower curtain. Now, this is crazy. You can't make this up, okay? So I was in the bathroom, and there was a bunch of alligator faces all over the shower curtain in the bathroom. And he basically, I don't want to get too detailed in it because it's kind of my personal life, but basically what Sobek was telling me, he was giving me all this information about the person I was with and how much I need to leave it, how much chaos is going on, and blah, blah, blah. And he was basically warning me about the situation I was in. And this information that he gave me, I don't want to share it because it's private to me, ended up coming true. Okay, so everything he ended up telling me ended up being the truth within, like, I think it was like within a month or two. And you can't ignore that. You know, you can't say you're crazy with a being coming up to you, telling you things, and it ends up coming true, you know, in the future. So this is my personal experience with Sobek. And the other experience I've had with him during a meditation is I've seen him pop up in a meditation, and his energy, how I know why he feels very, very heavy. If you could think about the way a very buff, not angry, but fierce being would feel like, that is kind of like, it's hard to explain because it's hard to explain energy for words. So I'm going to try to explain. So let's just say you're standing at a doorway, right? And there's guards standing at the doorway. The energy those guards are carrying, like, you're kind of like, okay, I know if I try to cross through, they're going to kill me, but I know they're protecting something very important. That type of energy Sobek actually carries, because he is actually the deity that protects the immortal waters. So what this means is you cannot cross the immortal waters until Sobek gives you the permission to do so. So that's the energy that he actually has. So how do you know he's around? You're going to dream about alligators. He's pretty clear. He'll basically let you know that he's around. You will have dreams about alligators. If you have a lot of chaos going on in your life, as in nothing can go right, you have a lot of emotional issues, you're in arguments a lot, that means Sobek is around, because he is associated with the concept of chaos. Not saying he's the only deity that's associated with chaos, but usually if you have a lot of chaos going on in your life. Here's another red flag. So I know there's a lot of spiritual people that follow me. So if you are having trouble contacting higher dimensional beings, or even contacting your higher self, or you're having issues with opening your third eye, or you're having issues with even contacting your ancestors, and you're not getting the messages back and forth, that actually means you're having issues with Sobek, because he is a deity of the immortal waters. Therefore, like I said earlier, you can't pass the immortal waters without Sobek's permission. So if you're having these type of blockages, like, let's say, so something that I've realized with a lot of people, because all these YouTube videos or whatever, telling people to open your third eye, open your third eye. If you're going to open your third eye, be sure to balance all your chakras underneath your third eye first. So your third eye is actually your 6th chakra. So you have 5 chakras to balance before you could, or when you should open your third eye. So one of the major blockages and issues I've realized with people who try to open their third eye is they end up seeing a lot of demons and spirits, and they get scared and blah, blah, blah. That's because you're not balancing your other chakras. Because if your chakras were balanced, you wouldn't have that issue. You would be able to open your third eye, and you would be able to see all spirits, not only shadows, but also ascended beings, to where it wouldn't bother you, and you would understand the higher concept of seeing these beings. So issues like that means you need to do some Sobek work. You need to speak to Sobek and find out, why do I have all these beings around me? Why can't I see higher dimensional beings? And why do I feel this way? And whatnot. This is a being you're going to want to talk to and work some out with, and find out why you're going through it, instead of acting all fearful and running away and avoiding the whole situation that doesn't serve anybody. You need to face the situation and find out why you're going through this. And Sobek is the being to talk to. He represents your deep and darkest fears, which is where a lot of our emotional imbalances come from. So if you want your emotional imbalances to be healed and to be cleared off, you need to do some Sobek work. And I know this sounds really scary, but it's part of the process. It's part of the spiritual process. We all have to do it. We all have to be open about what we fear and what is making us emotionally unstable in the first place. Because majority of the time, I'd have to say probably 99% of the time of why we are emotionally unstable is due to fear. And Sobek runs that realm of fear. So, ask Sobek, can you get rid of this fear or this chaos or this emotional imbalance within myself? And you would offer him things like palm oil, rum, water, etc. And then, like I said earlier, divine on it first, because not like Het-Heru, Sobek is a hot spirit. Het-Heru is a little more forgiving. She doesn't really care that much if you give her something she doesn't like. Sobek is not the same. Sobek will get irritated and he'll get mad if you're not listening and if you give him something he does not like. So he's very picky. So I'm going to repeat what he likes. He likes palm oil. He likes rum. And he likes water. And he actually likes some of this oil right here, oregano oil. Oh, excuse me, I was burped. Do not offer him just random stuff because you feel like you might want to give it to him. Do not make stuff up, because that's how you're going to end up having a whole lot of chaos come towards you. He is a hot spirit, let me repeat. Do not make Sobek mad. Divine on it. And I will add the link onto this video on how you can ask, what do you want, Sobek, for this specific request that I'm asking of you. And make sure, like I said earlier, be very, very particular. Don't just say, hey, I need you to just heal all my emotions. It doesn't work that way. You got to be very, very particular. Say, hey, this is where a lot of mindfulness comes in. You got to ask yourself, what is really making me feel chaotic? And you got to be real with yourself. And once you find that epiphany within yourself, like when you figure out within yourself, okay, this is why I'm acting this way, it's okay to struggle to heal it. This is why we work with the Neteru and the Rishas, because they help us heal things that our human self just can't wrap our head around. And that's okay. And that's why they're here. And that's why our ancient ancestors have left all these pyramids to let us know, hey, they're here. Help us heal. So once you figure out what it is that's really bothering you, be very particular. Like, for example, let me give you an example really quick if I could think of something really quick. So I actually made an offer to him earlier today for guilt. I had some guilt that was blocking me, that can make me a little self-sabotaging, which is very common. If you have a lot of guilt, it'll make you sabotage yourself. But you have to be very mindful about specific things that you do that cause self-sabotage. So don't just say self-sabotage in general. You have to like really go back and think about, okay, what are little things that I do that sabotage myself? Those are the things that you could bring up to Sobek to say, hey, get rid of this sabotage, because sabotage is considered chaos. So if you can be open about Sobek, because he's a crossroad a deity, like on other videos I said, you could basically go to the crossroads. Make sure you go to a crossroad that is a 4-way stop, not a 3-way, only 4-way. And you would literally go to a 4-way stop. It doesn't matter where, whatever your heart tells you to go, and you would offer whatever it is that you divine to ask what Sobek wants. It's good to divine at the crossroads and ask, hey, I need you to help me heal this specific action within my life that I keep doing, or whatever, and then offer him whatever it is that you divined that you feel like he wants for it, and you would leave it at the crossroads, like the 4-way crossroads. And that's the best way to do it. That's where a lot of his higher energy is at. You can always give him an offer on a black or red plate, but if you want the energy to be a lot more stronger, it's best to go to a crossroads place, whatever your higher self tells you that resonates with you. So my suggestion is to offer Sobek something first before you offer Het-Heru something. And like I said earlier, it's because not only because you want to get rid of something and then replace it with something good, but because he's a crossroads deity and he opens and closes doors. If you offer something to Sobek first, it'll help you open that doorway to communication to higher dimensional beings. He will open that doorway for you. And that's why, personally, why I would suggest for you to make an offer to Sobek first and then to Het-Heru. But no, you do not have to. Het-Heru would take an offer from you, whether or not if you give an offer to a crossroad deities first or not, because Het-Heru's energy is so ascended and she's so forgiving and loving. Like if you don't give an offer to any of the crossroad deities, she will still accept it, but I cannot say 100%. It just depends on your soul agreement. It depends on your ability to communicate to the other side and the effort that you put in. So just to let you know, you do not always have to make an offer to Sobek before you speak to Het-Heru, but my advice would be to do so if you want the energy work to work better for you. But like I said, you don't have to. It is up to you and what your higher self tells you to do. So I think that's all the basic information that I have in regards to Het-Heru and Sobek. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel at Mind of Ro. I also have a TikTok and Snapchat and Instagram and Twitter. Everything is at Mind of Ro. I also have a Facebook business page that this is not it, and it's actually facebook.com/The Mind of Ro, and this page is Mind of Ro. So you go to The Mind of Ro. Please subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to hit the notification bell on YouTube, and I will link this onto this video as soon as I'm done. And please share my video if you love my information that I share. I hope everybody has a emotionally stable day. Hotep and namaste.